Camille Franklin, Global Executive Inclusion Program Leader here at Oracle. My role is at the intersection of culture and inclusion and executive leadership recruiting. I'm joined today by Hillel Cooperman, our SVP of User Experience Design.
Hi, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining. I'm so excited to kick off Executive Voices with you. So, user experience design at Oracle. Can you just tell me a little bit about what that means and maybe what you find most fulfilling about that work?
Sure. I think some people think of it as, oh, how you lay out the screens or what colors you choose, or, talking to customers and interviewing them about what they like and what they don't like, or writing all the text in the product and in the documentation. And those things are true, but I don't think they capture what we really do. And to your point, what I find most kind of fulfilling. The thing I find most fulfilling is creating an environment or helping to create an environment where I see my colleagues growing and challenging themselves and achieving things they didn't think were possible. That's my main reward. But after that, I really enjoy the practice of being really curious about the problems that our customers face, of what they're trying to achieve, like really curious, like, why'd you do it that way? Show me that again. But why'd you do this before that and not that before? Oh, and then by coming with sort of a blank slate, and being really excited about what they're dealing with, that's when I think interesting solutions arise and novel solutions to whatever problems they're encountering and to help them achieve their goals. And that's when I think great design happens. And that's when we can create tools for them that are not just functional, but tools with which they have an emotional connection, which I know may seem a little weird, but I think there's a carpenter, like a really amazing furniture maker who loves their woodworking tools, or a chef who loves their knives. It's like, don't touch my knives. Those are my knives. So the notion that we can create tools that the end users who use Oracle software fall in love with and are like, oh, no. Don't take me out of the Oracle. Like, I want to use Oracle. These tools, they're designed for me. They make me feel good when I'm at work. They give me, they get out of my way. They empower me and they make me feel good. Like that's sort of what we do here.
Yeah, that definitely sounds much more personal than I would have thought. So what's an example maybe of a time where a customer had that emotional connection to an experience that you and your team developed? And I guess in general, how do you take that kind of customer knowledge and drive innovation in the area of user experience with our products?
I mean, it's we're just, as we roll out more and more Redwood screens and experiences, like we've gotten lots of feedback from individual users, individual customers about, how delighted they are by the new user experience. What I will say is some of the most, and remember, this new design system is not just for our products, but it's for everything we do. It's even our facilities are using it. Like you get a new laptop and the desktop background, our
I
app.
use it. Yes.
We all have it. And I think the most rewarding feedback I've gotten Jenny and I have gotten has been from, and Jenny's my co-leader on this effort. And the most rewarding feedback we've gotten has been from employees who say, I was proud to work here before, but these designs, this visual design language, this approach, is making the products and the environment align with the values I had in my head of why I work here, which is the whole point, right? It's not something that Jenny and I have some idea in our head, or our team has some idea, and we're here to tell you how to do it. It's like, no, like we're here to listen and understand the story of why everyone at Oracle does their job, and then give us language with which to tell that story in our products, in our advertising, in our marketing, in our sales, in our support, in our documentation, in every interaction we have with someone about Oracle, whether that's a customer or an end user or a partner or a member of the press or even an investor or an employee. Like everyone, we're all part of this. And so telling the story in a way that resonates and feels authentic and is in harmony with the reality of why we're here, that feels really, really good to me.
So it sounds like there's a lot of just thought and attention and creativity that goes into this process. How do you foster that creativity with your team and continue to come up with new and novel ideas and ways of leading the experience?
I mean, I think everybody's creative. I marvel at people who come to me and say, "Oh, I'm not creative." I'm like, that's ridiculous. It's like everyone can sing. Everybody can sing. Yep. Sorry. Everyone can. Everyone can dance. Everyone can sing. Everyone can dance. Everyone is creative. Now, where they apply that, how much they want to work on that and refine those muscles, that's a separate matter. But like everyone has that. We all do. Like, someone who's like not says, "Oh, I'm not creative," but I see them like plotting out these paths to get home on their commute with the perfect route at the perfect time. That's creativity. They're being creative. They're problem solving with creative solutions. That's what design is, like iterative creative problem solving. So number one, I fostering that, everyone has it. Beyond that, I don't know. To me, the feeling that I get in my body when we deliver something to a customer, to an end user who is trying to solve a problem and they see the new tool we've made for them, they feel seen, they feel heard. Like that's a high. Like it is. And it's addictive and also completely legal. To go make people happy and get the good feeling that you get in your body when you make them happy. Like it feels good. It's addictive. And so I think we create the environment in which you can do that, not by sparking creativity, but making the environment safe. In other words, if design is just creative, iterative problem solving, then that means that you are going to try things that don't work. So you can learn why they don't work and then refine your design to do something that works better than lather, rinse, repeat. And so the only way to do that is to be in an environment where it is safe to have come up with something that is not as good as you want it to be. Like, what choice is there? Like,
right.
If you have to be perfect every time, that will stifle that doesn't challenge anyone to be creative. It stifles creativity. But if you know, like, oh, okay, we all agree on what we're going for and how we're going to measure it, and we all agree this is the first step in that direction, and then we're going to listen and learn and gather evidence and refine until we get to the point where, like, oh my God, it's beautiful. Now it's in harmony. Now it's beautiful. Like, I think that's how I do that anyway.
So then that sounds like a type of culture where folks are probably allowed to fail, right? Because if you're coming up with novel ideas, some are going to be great and some may not, but you want them to innovate. So they've got to be allowed to fail, and they've got to be allowed to take risks. Is that on point? And talk to me a little bit more about
totally.
that.
Like, I don't even like the word fail. That sets up this binary where it's like, did you succeed or did you fail? It's like, well, it depends on how you look at it. Like, I succeeded in crossing this option off the list as something that is not going to work.
Yes.
Good. That's how everything is done. Like that's how they find vaccines. They try a bunch. Like, that's how everything is figured out. You try a bunch of things, and typically not one person, but collectively as a group of humans, maybe a small group, maybe a big group, we try a lot of options working together until we figure it out. And that's beautiful to me. Like, so yeah, I think you're totally right on. I don't like this binary of, did you fail? Like, cause it's like there's some stigma attached to that, which I do not understand. How do you expect people to grow if everything? I don't learn from success. I learn when things don't work as well as I had hoped. And I think that's how we all learn. I mean, to me. Yeah.
Indeed. So you talked a little bit about safety and you talked about our customer perspectives and you talked about your team. Can you talk to me about how inclusion fits into that? Inclusion with regard to our customer perspectives
Mhm.
and also inclusion in how you lead your team and bring out these creative ideas.
Sure. And look, um, for those on my team watching, like I'm going to say what my aspiration is, and then acknowledge that I don't always live up to it. That we're all a work in progress, including me, including and especially me. But that said, um, I think fundamentally, like I like to form a hypothesis about things. So I'm not just doing it because someone told me. I like to do things because I think it's the right thing. And I think nature has a lot to teach us, and I think nature has taught us the value of what's called hybrid vigor. Do you know that expression?
Mhm.
I don't
No.
know. I wonder if there's an official definition. Let's take a look, just because I always use it. Now I'm uh, Here's the definition off the internet. The phenomenon that a hybrid offspring has improved traits such as growth rate, biomass, stress tolerance, and fertility. Basically, it's from genetics.
Mhm.
And the idea is that when the parents of whatever is of the offspring, the more diverse their genetics are, the more vigorous and resilient and strong the
Mhm.
resulting offspring may be. And so I believe that is a pattern in just life. And I don't mean just in the creation of life, whether it's, plants or animals or whatever. I mean literally in all creative acts, like what we do at work and
Mhm.
what our users do at their work. So to me, if hybrid vigor is true, and I believe it to be, I believe it is just a core principle of the way our system works, then what that means is that I want the most diverse team possible in terms of skill sets, perspectives, backgrounds, just their mental model of how to do things, because the offspring, i.e., the creative things that we make together, will be more resilient. They will have hybrid vigor because their
Mhm.
parents, all of us, were more diverse. And I think that we try to do that by we have we had an internship program that we've been running for years. So that's how we try to do it on the team in terms of having all sorts of diversity at all levels. And we're still working on it. We got work to do. We're not perfect, but we are. I feel good about the progress we've made, and I feel good about where we're headed. But I also believe that hybrid vigor is true for our customers. They are companies, they are enterprises, they are organizations who will also benefit from diverse workforces creating whatever it is they create. And so if our tools that we make are inclusive, that means that our customers can hire a more diverse workforce.
Mhm.
So when we look at our tools, we have a whole variety of ways that we look at making sure that they are as inclusive as possible. And I think historically, we've used the word accessible, which is a good word. We want to make sure everyone has access to the tools. And a simple example of this is our tools can be used by those who are without sight, and they can use a screen reader to read the screen to them and tell them what's going on. We also have folks who are challenged in that area and have different abilities in terms of their sight on our team, who
Mhm.
test our software and use our tools and help us design better solutions. And we work with the accessibility program office and all that. But I also think you can do better than just making things accessible. You can be inclusive. So it's accessible is, oh, hey, there is another way for you to get to this if you really want, as opposed to inclusive, which is, I invite you to come in. I am trying to attract you to this. And one of the things we're working on, and we do this in a variety of ways. One thing we work on is, could we represent data visualizations with audio for non-sighted users, right? And really use sound design to draw a pie chart or a bar graph or a spark chart or whatever it happens to be. And so we're experimenting. That's super interesting. Or even you may not expect, like looking at Redwood from a perspective of a neurodivergent user. Is our use of bold typeface too distracting? Is our patterns distracting in certain situations? Our typeface was designed with this in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So we have all sorts of beautiful little touches that we're constantly working on in terms of color choices or alternative data format or keyboard navigation or all sorts of things that we do to try and be inclusive in the software itself so that our customers can benefit from having hybrid vigor in their workforce and have a tool set that we provide them that is not just making the work that they do accessible to all their employee base, but actually making it, including their entire employee base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is fascinating, and it sounds like a lot of fun goes into it as well. I'm curious as to what you see as the future. Like you've talked about what you all are doing now and inclusive design. What do you see as the future of inclusive design?
I think of inclusive design as the future of accessible design, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like things where, like an example, a non-Oracle example is when Pinterest realized, like a lot of people on Pinterest who are into like beauty and beauty products and makeup and cool stuff like that, would do all these pins, but they realized that the algorithm was biasing towards this very pale pink skin tone, which not everyone has. And
Mm-hmm.
so Pinterest, at a certain point, created the ability to define, to be explicit about what your preferred skin tone is so that its algorithm for beauty pins would direct you to the right recommendations. And that
Mm-hmm.
to me is not just about accessibility, that's about inclusion. And so I think of our example of, again, could we make charts sing to you or sound a certain way to you as an example of that kind of thing, like where like we can do a visual description of the chart. But as soon as we do that, we're kind of there's a gestalt of looking at a data visualization that is, you can feel the difference in scale between this bar and this bar that gives you an insight into the data you're looking at. And a verbal description of this bar is red and is
Mm-hmm.
occupying 97% of the thing. This bar is occupying 3% of the height of the column. It just doesn't get you. So I love that. Like, I think that feels like the future to me of inviting people in, if that makes
And
sense.
it really goes back to what you said in the beginning. It's about how you make customers and employees and all of your end users feel. It goes back to that feeling.
I think that at work, we like to tell ourselves that everything is, rational and logical. And I know we try to be, and it's good. Nope, no argument. I try to be rational and logical. But I also think like humans, like we're humans, our customers are humans, and human beings are emotional creatures. And as much as they may want to tell themselves they're making decisions for logical reasons that they can measure, sometimes they're also making decisions about which company they want to bet on because of the interactions they've had with that company and how they made them feel, both with the people at that company and with their technology. And if it made them feel good, they're more likely to choose us and to choose us on an ongoing basis. And I'm not ashamed to embrace the totality of the humanity of both our employees and our customers and make sure they have both rational, logical reasons to choose us, but also good emotional trust and
Mm-hmm.
safety and good feelings that are reasons to choose us as well.
Tell me a little bit about what you do and what aspects of your role you find most fulfilling.
Okay, so I am blessed, along with Jenny Lamb, to kind of co-curate design and user experience in Redwood here at Oracle. That's our mission, and I think of it. I think of Redwood as not just a design system or user experience platform, but effectively a philosophy that Oracle is growing towards and helping co-create and embedding in its culture that says it is not just enough for us to make sure that our technology solves the problem of our user or our customer getting from point A to point B in their journey. That in addition, when they do get to point B in their journey, they feel really good. I think creating tools that make it so not only can you accomplish your goal, but that you feel really good in the act of accomplishing your goal will give us a generational advantage over our competitors. I mean, one thing that I would just want to remind everyone of is I think sometimes we think about accessibility and inclusion as some sort of like tax. And I don't think about it that way. And I can't tell you what to think, but I would argue that it's not just about these special carve-outs for people with different abilities. And it's not just about creating the hybrid vigor that I talked about. I think when we are inclusive, we are sending a message that our hearts and our minds are open. And that when you work with Oracle, you're working with people who are excited to learn and grow from input from everybody, and not just from group A or group B and the traditional group you would expect. And that we're willing to do the extra work to make sure that we get those additional perspectives. And I think that can be a huge difference in terms of people wanting to partner with us, people wanting to choose Oracle, and know that because they know that they've got sort of unique requirements and a diverse, they don't want to feel like a one size fits all either. And so I just think this is a posture that we can adopt that really has benefits that manifest themselves almost fractally, if that makes sense.
Hillel, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your expertise and how you approach the work that you do.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I get a disproportionate amount of credit and spotlight because I have a fancy title, but the truth is I'm super lucky to be surrounded by thousands and thousands of people at Oracle who are helping make this sort of next generation of inclusive and state-of-the-art user experience possible. And so they're really doing all the heavy lifting, and I'm just lucky to be part of the team.
Well, kudos to you and your team, and thanks again for joining today.